evening, everyone, and welcome to Damage Does D&D, our recurring campaign, Helloran Rising, episode 51. That's a lot. It's one more than last week. I know, I did maths. It's all good. So,
Lines up planets.
yeah, it goes up. It's almost as if it goes up in increments. It's very strange. Anyway, the last we were here, you were travelling overland towards somewhere. Let me see. Dornham, the fabled city of tieflings. And you were a day or so in, and you had the feeling you were about to be ambushed. And indeed, you were just discussing how to deal with this alleged ambush when an orc steps out from behind the rocks to your right and demands that you leave your valuables and be on your way. I think he said, drop your stuff and fuck off. You know, in that orc manner that they do. You, however, decide not to comply and charge into battle. There are 4 orcs hidden behind the boulders to the left and right of the path of, and Florian, Snow and Trelador seem to have these under control. But then orcs riding bears appear, and the fight starts to turn in favour of these orcs. Even more so when 2 more orcs, larger than the others, appear on the flanks and start to target Celeste and Melissa, the squishies at the back. With some amazing acrobatics from Florian, especially, Snow and Miette, the melee orcs don't quite know what's going on at times. The ferocity of his attacks and frankly disturbing shouts of "For real orcs!" emanating from Trelador seems to be making the axe work beautifully, as he turns being an ambush orc seem like a very bad life choice. Gus has Bridger's move to protect Celeste and Melissa while he creates new orc pincushions to decorate the landscape, but also managed to shoot Miette. Dangerous. Snow casts stabs so many times it does indeed seem like a cantrip as he lacerates his way through orcs. After a slow start, well, he's only got little legs, Yorick's hammer and the Spirit Guardian blender start to mince through ogres and bears alike. Celeste is keeping everyone alive, including herself, as she seems to be trying out for the position of meat shield this week. Miette is making sure one particular orc knows that he has been attacked by a cat, claw marks across the head, stab wounds in the chest, and just generally life being very much of a pain. Florian is so bouncy that at times the orcs, and sometimes even himself, don't actually know where he will land and who he will punch next. Melissa stands bravely and attacks with a scimitar and almost dies, and then is healed and dies, and heals and dies, and so on. The orcs finally dispatched, you start to look around at the carnage that surrounds the landscape. And that's where we'll pick it right up.
No, it's just going to go from body to body, basically go through possessions and cut belts and purses off.
Okay.
Likewise.
Alright, investigation
Although,
checks.
investigating a bit more clearly first, putting aside valuables.
Okay, investigation checks from pair of you, please.
27.
27.
Please be a better roll than last week. Investigation, probably not. 13.
13.
Was still better than last week's.
Better than last week's. Snow, you going through, they have the normal sized orcs, who are still fairly large, have a spear and a longbow each. They're dressed in kind of piecemeal armour. They have a fair amount of gold on them. You pick up, I'll say, about 150 gold. They're all wearing the same yellow cloth, sort of, it's almost like a tabard, but it's kind of ripped, which is a yellow background with a red triangle at the shoulder. The base of the triangle at the top and a point downwards, aiming at you find similar. There's very long spears, longbows. The two enormous orcs that were attacking Celeste and Melissa both have these enormous flails, which is a huge stick with a chain and a big spiked ball attached, was what they were doing with most of the damage with. Yet you find, let's see what you got there, 86 gold.
I will hand it over to Snow for distribution.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I'll remind you, your character is not aware of my dishonesty.
So yeah, they don't really have any more details on them. But yet I'll have you roll a history check, and Trelador as well, please.
One of those odd tabardy type things as well. I'll take one of those and
Okay.
sort of keep it
Yep. Right.
just in case.
Put it into your inventory.
My dice are against me.
What'd you get?
Mine too.
6.
2 plus 0.
Wow.
2.
I wouldn't have a chance of rolling this from reading anything, would I? I'm proficient in history.
Not really. It was specific to those two, unfortunately.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not-
cool.
You've not been to this part of the world before, so
Yeah.
it was on a chance of recognising the tabard, which you don't. None of you do.
Yeah.
My question is for you. Question for you, DM. Are spears simple weapons?
I believe so. Does it say so in D&D Beyond? I'm pretty sure it does.
I haven't checked before. I thought I'd ask you the question. Is you are the Almighty?
I'm pretty sure they are. I mean, these are long spears, and they're fairly heavy.
Basically a staff
Simple.
with a pointy metal bit on the end.
Yeah,
They are considered simple.
considered simple weapons. If you want to take one, what's your strength?
My strength is 10. So.
They're
That's
heavy. For you to
Could
be
they?
able to
They're
wield
They're
this-
wooden spears, yeah.
No, well, kind of. They're wood halved with a large metal tip on them, so they're very top heavy.
Could I fashion it so?
I mean, you
Ah,
could,
so the
if you
ends are the
wanted to,
top
you
heavy.
you could take the metal bit off. You could cut the metal bit off to have a normal wooden staff if you want.
You could always ask the resident weaponsmith if you can do something with it for you.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a weaponsmith here who could stick a pointy metal bit on the end of your staff.
Yeah, because I've already got a quarter staff, so it would be something simple. Yeah, I was just thinking, yeah, something a bit different. Yeah, I will potentially pick one up.
I
I'll
mean,
probably ask for Yorick actually, as he's quite strong.
You can pick it up, but you suspect
It's-
it's going to be way too heavy for you to wield effectively. I mean, you could put in some strength training and sort of build your muscles up in a different way to be able to wield this, because it is. I mean, you saw the orcs were literally stabbing people with it. They weren't.
They
wielding
weren't
it as a
for-
spear. They were just.
Snow will dish out sort of 25 gold to everybody.
Well, there you go.
First time I've had gold in a while. I feel rich.
It does. It's true.
With regard to the history check, well, I'll probably take the cloth, look at it. Like there's a faint bit of confusion with the cloth, and then they'll just stop.
I mean, you do recognise it, but you're not sure where from.
Where from? And then I'll just use the cloth to yeah.
Okay.
Yorick,
Yo.
if we were to take one of these spears from these arc folk, is there any chance you could probably make it into a better staff than what I already have if we took the tip off and you did your magics on it?
I think you know I can do anything.
It was more of a, and I want to ask you rather than just assume.
Well, I'm a bit busy making something for Gus at the moment, but I could put it in my backlog.
That's absolutely fine. I'll take off the tip here just so it's not too heavy, and then I can carry it around.
Okay.
So if you put a standard quarterstaff into your inventory,
I'll
there you've
add
got
another one in.
two.
I'd like to rush
Brilliant.
to Idris, because she got a bit ouchied.
Uh-huh.
Are you alright?
She's like, yeah, I'm just, having a bite to eat. I got a bit, stab it.
Yeah, well, let me give you some healing, because you got a little bit cheat then, didn't you?
Okay.
I'll cast Cure Wounds on her.
Okay.
Sort of thing I would do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a healer as well.
There's loads
For-
of them about.
I got 7 minus 1 for 6.
Awesome.
That's just me off guard every time.
Okay, so.
And then I'll say to her, look, you know you got a bit ouchy then. How would you feel about getting, you see that armour that's on those bears?
Yeah.
It helps them stop getting ouchy as well. It didn't work very much this time because they're
Yeah,
dead.
it will look like it worked, yeah?
But it worked better than it would do if it wasn't on them. Would you like me to see if I can get Yorick to make you a nice shiny breastplate out of that? You know how people shoot arrows at you? It might make the arrows go ping off somewhere else. It's up to you. I don't
Can I
mind.
not Well, I don't think.
What if I made him make it look really pretty?
I don't think that I would be able to fly with all that metal on me.
Oh, fair enough. I was just a thought because I want to keep you protected because I worry about
No, I
you.
appreciate it, Mum. I really do. I do, but like, if I weigh too much, then I won't be able to fly.
That's fair enough.
I mean,
All right,
I know
you
I'm
carry
full
on
of
with
orc, but you know.
You carry on with you do. You might like the bear better. Orcs are a bit stringy.
No, this one's good.
Oh, right. That's all right then.
Well, you see, she's got blood spattered all up her snout.
Yeah,
Is
so
there
whilst that was...
any...
Sorry, go on.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go on.
I was going to ask, is there any sign about the place of tracks leading back to where they might have had a lair? Because I figure we're still a bit a day out from the city.
Yeah, you definitely are about a day out from the city. Make a survival check.
13.
13. You can see, I mean, which side are you investigating? Because obviously they came from both left and right.
I'm going to investigate the side I was fighting on, so I think that's on the left.
Okay. So, over to the left, you can see there are sort of tracks leading off back around the back end of the battle and they just basically go round the rocks and meet up at the back in that little sort of stand of trees that were there. But you don't see anything sort of leading off with a little sign saying hide out this way.
No, that'd be too easy.
Yeah, afraid so.
Once I've finished divesting them of their stuff, can I go back through the corpses and see if there's any sort of distinguishing marks on them or any marks that we would recognise from our journeys and relating to the people that are chasing us?
Sure. I'll take your, was it 27, your investigation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll use that for now. There's no point rolling another one. Because you would have done that, I would imagine, as you were looking for other things.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing that reminds you of any of the things you've encountered so far that are trying to kill you. This seems like an entirely new threat. The only thing that sort of catches your eye is this yellow tabard with the upside down red triangle on it. Always on the right shoulder of the tabard.
And as he's going along, Snow's just going to be chuntering under his breath. Oh yes, of course. It is so much safer to travel over land. Oh, with the, getting ambushed, the fog. Oh, so much safer. And he's literally just chuntering under his breath as he's going along.
Any chance I can hear this, given that we're both searching the bodies?
What's your passive perception at the minute?
15.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can hear all of that.
Whilst all of that's going on, I'll be taking off one of the spearheads.
Okay.
So I'm left with the wooden
You can sort of
staff.
chop away at it take the metal bit. Are you keeping the metal bit as well or not?
How sturdy does it look? Does it look like it's pretty decent, or does it look like it's just been like hashtag thrown together type thing?
It is a very much thrown together thing. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
poor quality, but it's not, Yorick style levels of workmanship by any means.
So I could potentially make up, not me personally, but they could be made into like the darts what I use, as in like the
Yeah, I mean, the tip of this spear is a good sort of 3 feet long.
Oh, I'll leave it then,
Made of
because there's no
metal.
way I'm carrying it, and it's just pointless anybody else doing that.
I mean, you'd have
Well,
to get to a forge and smelt it down and reshape it. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
Did anyone else think it's strange that there's such a large party outside the city?
I mean, I don't know much about orcs, but
Oh.
There's just one thought that occurs to me from back when we were in Larkham. That when we met the priest in that town, he asked you, Melissa, and Florian if you were part of the army. Not that we asked what army he was referring to. But with
we've
these
got
tabards,
yeah, but we've
maybe
got
there's a connection.
tabards. Well, we don't really have tabards, but we're different coloured, aren't we? We're like more marine red, and rather than bright yellow and red, aren't we, Chaz?
yeah,
I was taking it as yourself and Melissa were both dressed in red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you actually had a uniform compared to the rest of us.
no, it's a different shade. I'm not familiar with this talk. Never really heard much about orcs.
I mean, Melissa, you've seen orcs. They were. This seems out of character for any other orcs you've met. You know from your time in Redport that orcs are traders. They're businessmen, women. They're not bloodthirsty savages out to attack travellers. This seems very unlikely.
It leads up to my next question. Do they look like, from pictures or whatever, like normal orcs, or from how orcs are described to us? There's nothing, they haven't got like elongated ears, or they don't look undead, or anything like that. They look like normal orcs.
Make a perception check or investigation, up to you.
I mean, I've seen orcs before. They've been merchants and traders. I mean,
Trevor,
This doesn't look like.
We did
Sorry?
meet that very pretty orc that I quite liked in the pub as well.
make a.
She was very pretty.
Trellador,
I
if
thought
you-
she was your tailor.
Sorry?
Was that not your tailor? No.
Taylor?
Never
Oh.
mind.
It could have been. I'm not very clever. I thought it was in a pub. I was probably drunk anyway.
That's fair. Trellador, as all this talk of orcs surrounds you, just roll me a d20, please.
No.
Okay.
Mine was 13, by the way, Chaz. Perception.
17.
17. Perfect. Florian, you. Looking at them, I mean, they're big for orcs. Really big. Orcs that you've met are at least sort of half a foot shorter than these fellas, and the really big guys are a good sort of 2 to 3 feet taller than normal orcs that you've seen before. These are mutants of some kind. They are just massive.
But not mutants as such as the big monsters.
They don't.
They don't
How
look
many limbs
undead.
do they have?
No, they have the normal amount of orc limbs, 2 arms, 2 legs. Well, it's difficult to tell now, of course, because Bridris has been eating them, and you've been chopping them up and blasting them with magic and stuff. But counting the limbs that are left, it looks pretty normal. Trellador. You're aware that to the east of the Forest of Drummond, Forest of the Elves, there is a place called the Macabar Hills. And you've heard that there are giant orcs living there. You wouldn't have thought they'd be this far south.
Unless the mountains suddenly became inhospitable.
And do these orcs look like
Yeah,
the
pretty
giant
much.
orcs?
Yeah, you remember a skirmish when you were really young. That you saw. You didn't take part, but you've remembered seeing them fighting with elves on the borders of the forest.
Recognise these types.
You know them?
Well, I don't know these ones, but they're they don't normally come this far south.
They're a lot bigger than normal orcs too, from what I remember seeing.
You surprise me every day, Florian. Perception.
Is there a usual homeland anywhere near the mountains?
Well, back home, where I'm from. To the east, there's the Macabar Hills.
Yep.
I wrote it. And that's where they're from. That's a long way.
But do you think that the disruption in the mountains between the dwarves and the dragons could have forced them south?
Possibly.
I'll tell you what, I'll just show
was it?
you the
'Cause
map.
I was about to say, being somewhat of an aspiring cartographer and looking at maps, would I know a rough distance of how far they would have travelled?
A
Giving that
long
information?
way.
Long way.
I mean, you're way down here,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
so you're way down here,
I wonder if they're escaping from the battles with the dragons.
and the Macabar Hills obviously are up here.
The map has just subtly changed.
Well, I've just put in things that you know where they are.
So this war, maybe, like Snow said, is displacing many types of people.
I will post
And-
that updated map in the Discord chat as well, so you can have a look.
And just to confirm, Chaz,
Yeah.
when we were sort of like at the bottom of the forest near like the Y in the river,
Yeah.
the Midwood, sorry,
hmm
we weren't far from that when it was noticed of the dragons fighting. Was it like
Yeah,
literally?
you were kind of here-ish
Yeah,
when you.
and that
when
was
you
like
saw it.
basically straight north from that is where we
Yeah,
saw them
that's-
fighting.
That's that's a long way.
Yeah, that's a long way. And then how far would that be from the Macabar Hills?
I mean, the Macabar Hills, you would have to cross 2 rivers to get to where you are currently. That's a good week or so.
And we only saw it a few days ago.
Yeah.
Oh no, we wouldn't have done, would we?
Yeah, it's only been
It's about 3 or 4
few
days,
days.
max.
But did we see? See, I'm now thinking, did we see that before we entered Death's? We don't know if there's been any time dilation there, do we? We know we appeared back from where we killed those giants, but
we saw it after we traipsed through Remora and Balos realms.
Yeah,
It's
but it
only
could have been going on longer while all the time that we're in the Midwood, so we could have been going on
It's
for
entirely
a
possible.
couple of weeks.
I mean,
We just didn't know about it.
yeah.
if they have come this far south, I mean, they're not the only ones.
No.
Did you find anything on the bodies?
Just this weird tabard, but
I mean, like I said, they're not from here. They're from the Macabar Hills. Is there any marks to prove it on them?
Yeah,
you're welcome.
weren't you up north that way when you was running from the fog?
I was much further north than that. Further north than all of the cities.
I was just considering because, I mean, in terms of like how far south that is, it's only just south compared to Giffield, which was where we last saw it.
What are the orcs usually like from up there, Chalador? Would they normally do this? I mean, the orcs we know are good traders, and
Well, they're orcs, aren't they?
so nothing out of character for them doing this. The only thing out of character is for them being hundreds of miles away from where they are.
I believe so. Not really my area, but they're here and they shouldn't be.
We might learn more if we get back to the city. They might have been being attacked or
I mean,
something.
with respect, I suggest we take a small, short rest here, get a bit of our strength back, pile
Yeah,
the
that-
assholes up, and then perhaps Gus can have Bridris burn them before we leave.
It looks like Bridris has made short work of them, to be honest.
You look and Bridris is sat on her behind you, sort of full.
I'm quite aware of the number that thing did on my ribs.
So you want to take a short rest?
Yeah, I think it'd be beneficial for some of us, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not speaking, that's not me obviously in character, with the strong Norfolk accent, not the American one.
Sorry, I had my mic very far away, so you might have been struggling to hear me. That should be better.
Yeah, I think
Well, maybe we should just move on a little bit away from the bodies, because it'll be a bit stinky, and you never know, all the wild animals might come in after the dinner.
And I could find no trace of where their lair might be, so we have no way of knowing if there's others.
If they're raiders or bandits, then they may not have one.
Would I know if they sort of hunt in family groups or big groups, small groups? Probably not.
The tales that you've heard are that the orcs tend to split into clans, much like Tabaxi. So you have particular clans who are associated with particular regions in the Macabar Hills. You don't recognise this tabard as to what clan it is, but clans can be anywhere from 5 or 6 to 50 or 60. There's really no way of telling, but these orcs look pretty well outfitted. Their weapons are, whilst not brilliant, they are serviceable, and especially those big flails. They're pretty well made. The spears are, yeah, the bows are pretty good. The long bows, but yeah, those flails are pretty good.
And is this equipment they would normally have or
Oh,
make
yeah.
themselves?
Yeah, they would normally, if the clan is feel particularly rich from preying on whoever they can get hold of and stealing, they might have an armourer.
but there's no way knowing if they're a big or small clan, because if they're particularly rich from what they do, their weapons could be brilliant all the time.
I mean, nobody here recognises the tabard, so you just wouldn't know what clan it was and whether they were big or not.
So either they've been forced out of their home, or they're trying to gain more territory or extend their influence.
Seems a bit of a strange place for them to try and gain territory from a mainly tiefling-run city.
Maybe we can learn more when we get to the city. Being any more sighting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most likely. I mean, things could have changed a lot since we been traipsing through different planes.
Maybe some of the talky people can do some talking.
Can we
I'm
say
sure we will, Trevor.
Can we say having these conversations we would have been like walking 20 minutes away just so we can then have a short rest?
If you want to, yeah, of course.
Just so we're not right near the bodies like people said.
Sure.
Pretty sure what difference it would make, but sure.
Okay, so you're walking on, having these conversations. I would like a perception check from whoever's leading the party. And if somebody at the rear wants to do a perception check as well.
16.
Me or you? There you go.
18.
18. Okay. 16. Everything seems cool. It's, it's sort of midday-ish up to early afternoon. The sky's clear. It's not as warm as you're used to. You're going pretty far west and south, so it's getting a bit chilly. But yeah, seems pretty clear. Behind you, you can hear the sounds of scavengers coming up to feast on your leavings. And Bridges is like, "Oh, I should go back, Mum, should I go back? I don't like them having my kills."
No, it's all right. You've filled your belly. We'll get some more. Don't worry.
Oh. But we killed them. We should take them with us.
Yeah, it's not worth it. They're big and horrible, aren't they? They'll get
Yeah.
smelly after a few hours.
Yeah, but we could bury them somewhere or something, so that we know where we could we could find a cave and pile them up in a kind of.
I don't think there's any caves like around
And
here.
then I could just sit on them and
Beatrice is very young for having hoarding instincts.
just be sat and guard them for you.
But they'd go all mushy and horrible, and you'd smell.
Yeah, but they'd be mine. Ours.
It's all right. Let it go. We'll get some more for you to play with.
Okay.
Well, we all know Bridget's gold is basically her prey now, rather than actual gold.
I could just eat just one. Let me take one.
Why? You're full.
Yeah, but that's not the point. We killed them. They're ours.
If you eat any more, you won't be able to fly.
I don't want to eat it. I want to keep it. It's mine. We killed them. It's mine.
Well,
Teenagers.
you said we killed it, so it's ours.
That's what I said.
Okay. But we finished with it now. You got to let it go.
So I can have it then.
If you want to go back and get one, you can.
Cool. Disappears back off down the trail.
So much for not leaving a blood trail behind us.
Teenagers. God.
So, yeah, you watch as this dragon fart past you. So, after about 25 minutes, you reach a space. It's not really tree led down here. It's sort of rolling hills. You can see in the distance towards Dornham, farmlands are starting to come up with crops and sort of hedge boundaries rather than trees and rocks. So yeah, you can stop here and have a rest for an hour if you want.
Okay.
While we're stopping, I will investigate the wound. How's it looking after the fight?
Okay. Peel your shirt off, have a quick look, and you can see the blood oozing through it again. And you sort of put your shirt back, and it's like, as you sit down to take your rest, it's like, it sort of cracks. And starts to seep again. It's sore. It hurts.
Sit there and try and style it out like normal.
Okay.
Leaking onto the floor.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got so much orc blood on you, it's pretty difficult for other people to see.
As we are here, does anyone feel like discussing how we are going to enter the city? Or are we just going to march in looking all conspicuous as we are?
I was thinking that.
I presume we're just going to walk through the gate like we do all the other cities.
Has anyone been to this city before?
Do I know much about Dornham?
You've not been. you've been to Farnham, which is quite a nice city. You've heard that Dornham is mainly tiefling, orc, with a scattering of humans, some elves, not very many, just a few. Their reputation is as merchants, grain merchants mainly, cereals, sort of farm. There's a bit of livestock going on as well, but everything comes up through along the rivers with the Treading Waters clan for sale in Farnham, Redport, and then on to other cities as other merchants in those cities decide that they want to make a profit by selling it on further. But you don't know huge amounts about it. You just know that there's quite a lot of money there. Your family did think about extending jewellery trade down there, but decided that it was better to go north, Kleinwater, Giffield.
Have you ever been here before? Snow on your boat?
No.
I've definitely not been here,
Telling
but
you.
I've heard a fair bit about it. It's mostly just merchants and farmers, as far as I know. I always used to hear it described as like the breadbasket of Helloran.
Did they have a library? Can these people even read?
No, they're all country bumpkins. They don't
So, they're-
appreciate the show at all.
It was a
When my
legitimate
people visit
question.
here
Yes.
every year.
they're very rich off of the farming.
I didn't say are they rich. I said can they read? Different
So they
question.
most likely can.
Yeah,
course
you
they
would,
All I was asking.
yeah, you would know Dornham, at least the inhabitants. You weren't actually supposed to go into the city when you were down here, but you have been a few times.
Of course.
You didn't get caught, which is handy. Mainly the tieflings, the merchants are rich. They are quite friendly, especially when they come to see the shows, and they have a few beers, and they're quite easy going.
Marks.
Absolutely easy marks. Don't seem to mind losing a bit of coin here and there. They always treated the Wandering Gusts as, whilst it's probably friendlier than most of the other cities.
Considering the last city we were in wanted to take my head off.
Oh, it's definitely friendlier than that.
Yeah.
Whilst you weren't supposed to go into the city, there were no actual laws stopping you.
Yeah, I think any other city, settlement, or random cave would be more friendly to Wandering Gusts than Redport.
Yeah. But yeah, Dornham is quite an easygoing place. They do have a library. They're quite cultured. But yeah.
On your question though, Mia, I was hoping that you may be able to use your skills of scars, and because I'm pretty sure that me and Melissa will be spotted straight away. As would Snow.
Yes.
As would
Well,
most of us.
Snow's stripes I can change. I could even change them to spots if you would. Sorry, no. Snow's spots I can change. I could even make them stripes for a night if you wanted. With the humans, I can do something. We can cover up your distinctive colours at least.
I think I've been in need of a little bit of a change of outfit lately, so
I mean, I could take my
have some thoughts.
jacket off just so I've got red trousers and my white shirt on. Not exactly.
It will take a little more than that, darling.
I'll just
Well,
giggle.
I shall
Not
break
just
out
that, I
my
know.
Why don't we get some nice grass and fashion him a wig?
I've got hair in this, thank you very much. And nice flowing locks, thank you.
He has indeed. And bunny ears as well.
Indeed. if they wanted to wear cloaks and keep themselves in disguise, we could fashion cat ears for them. Tabaxi ears out of grass. So the people who look at them won't even be looking for humans.
Yeah.
I mean, their extravagance could also work in our favor. We could be a traveling troupe.
I was
That's
thinking
true.
if I tighten up what I'm wearing and probably have the tattoos on less display, I could. Well, I was about to say I could pass for a noble, but I kind of am. Weird. But
Also,
yeah,
nobles tend to demand attention, and it's much easier to pass through these places if you pretend to be a servant.
it's also
Servants are not looked at.
yeah, and I can hold my own dealing with people.
I'm not
And
pretending to be a servant.
you don't have to be. You could be a bodyguard.
I am a body.
There you go.
Precisely.
Excellent.
Though I don't think I'll pass with this much makeup. I think I need to tidy myself up a bit.
Yeah, we're going to obviously be walking into Dorman, so we need to look a bit more. For those of us like yourself, Melissa, who like to look a bit more pristine, need to look a bit more haggard. Unless you're going to be the one who we could all be following and helping, carrying your belongings.
I mean, in fairness, the ideas here are great, but I think that you're missing the biggest problem here, which is we have two dwarfs with us.
That is.
All in a problem.
Everywhere we go, we
Well,
see.
no problem.
You're the first dwarves that I ever saw, certainly. When we
We're
met.
not going to be able to pass them off as halflings. Every time we try, somebody sees through it. Or
Maybe we should shave the beards
Yeah.
off.
How many times have we tried passing nobles happens?
I was gonna say we can't pass you guys off as halflings because of the beards, and that's, I'm assuming, non-negotiable.
Tell you what, I've got a brilliant idea. Why don't we fashion some stilts and we'll pretend to be humans?
because you know.
How much practice have you had with
Oh,
stilts?
no. Who's got a big coat? I'll get on
We
Gus's
could,
shoulders and
oh,
put
yeah,
a big
Gus
coat on.
on top of
On my
Garrick's
shoulder.
shoulders.
Oh no, other way around. You're stronger, so you be the legs, I'll be the head.
Ah, all right.
Oh, that
Yeah.
hurts the ribs.
What could go wrong? And also, just a side note, Trellador, if you really, really want to try, he just flips out one of his naps. I dare you.
I mean,
Dare you.
I don't know if you know this about me, Snow, but I am the champion of a dwarf god. So basically, what I say goes. So if I want them to shave their beards off,
Well, to be fair, Trellador, on that note, you should probably grow a beard.
This is what
I could if I wanted to.
You can't be a champion of Riox proper unless you've got long hair and a beard, and it's all braided proper.
Yeah.
So
It's all right. I've got a spare you can wear.
Snow will just get uncomfortably close to Trellador and kind of inspect his face and then sort of like scratch under his chin.
Make a perception check. What colour is your hair, Trellador? Is it blonde?
white. It's like
White.
a
Oh,
it's like a
okay. That's not bad.
white.
Perception, yeah?
Yeah,
26.
26. As you get close, you see that Trellador does indeed have the beginnings of white beard just coming in.
Because
That is very nice. It seems that your prior attempts that were patchy and poor seems to be coming in properly now. Perhaps this is a blessing from Riox.
I can't tell if you're taking the piss or not. I assume you are.
How tall did you used to be?
I used to be.
I mean, how tall are you?
6'2".
DM questions that
Okay.
inspire fear.
A dwarven white elf.
Okay. Interesting.
I kind of sidle next and whisper to Florian.
No, Jay, you're not
Yeah,
whispering
it's-
anything. You've just
Sorry.
stopped.
It just froze on me there.
Yeah.
I lean into Florian and just kind of whisper to him. I think Trellador would be pretty hot with a beard just like Yarrick's. That white and beard braided.
Well, that could give us
Hey,
something to
Yorick?
joke about with him.
You
Yep.
might want to give him some tips on how to look after his new facial growth.
Some tips on how to grow a beard. You just kind of do it, don't you?
I mean, you do. Elves generally don't.
I'm sorry, can someone tell me what the hell is going on?
The elves
I'm not
not
sure
very
any of
big.
us know anymore.
Trelador, if you put your hand up to your chin, you can indeed feel hair on your face. It's
I mean-
very odd.
Generally
you-
speaking, they are quite a smooth people.
Okay, who's done this?
I think
I can promise you, hand on my heart, it was not me.
it was. I mean, come on. It's probably the boss.
Well, if you were going to be a
Some
dwarf,
kind
you're going to be a proper dwarf. We just have
Cosmic
to
joke.
put your legs up at the knees. Then it'll work.
Who am I to question the will of Reorcs?
Good answer.
Regarding the dwarves, as you say, Snow, we have dwarves in our party. It is very obvious. We cannot disguise this.
As you're
So
saying that,
what is-
doof, 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 a dragon hoves into view.
My dragon. Or
Yes,
another. Oh, good. Okay.
Vidrus, we may need to send away before we leave the city. But what if we just... Gus, Yorick, how do you feel if a small adornment was added to your faces to make it appear that your beards were false?
Make it appear our beards are false.
Yes, that you are in disguise as dwarves, but not actually dwarves.
Uh,
I'd be okay with that as long as you're not actually, messing with.
Oh no, no hair will be removed. On my word, as a performer.
or we could just stay out here. And have
I
a-
was about to
a
suggest
picnic.
that, Gus. That's a good idea. Maybe, I don't know, Snow and yourself and
And
Jarl
or,
stay out somewhere.
considering the no-
Maybe we
Sorry,
could
Snow.
not split up,
Yeah,
considering the
the
current
n-
situation.
sheer number of people that are after us, seems like a terrible idea.
Oh, we wouldn't get into any trouble, would we, Yorick?
Oh,
I mean, I could babysit them if you wanted. I've done it before.
babysit?
You want to
We
sell
just-
our babies? That's a bit weird.
Why
I
did
mean-
I even say that? Why did I offer myself to do this? Again,
Overcomplicating getting into a fucking city.
I am just trying to come up with a method of getting into the city where you're not instantly clocked as who we are.
I mean,
we're
Unless you
going
would
to the
like to
city to
wander
read
with
some
shiny
books.
clothes and hand yourself over to the authorities again.
if you'd have listened to me the first time, it would have just been me.
Yes,
Maybe
that
we
would
should
work out
split up.
wonderfully for you.
I think we should split up. I mean, the talky, reedy people can go in, and the strong, brave types stay out here.
What
Then, but that's
happens?
not just what happens if the talky, reedy people get into trouble.
What happens
Seems like
if,
that seems like a them problem, really.
what happens if Fiona's devils come after y'all, and the group's down to half, and she sent a group of devils to chase you that are designed to take out the full group? They definitely
Surely.
overpower you.
Well, on that, I have a suggestion that we take Treador and one group and Florin together, and then we can at least see which one of them Fiona's demons are after now.
Are me
I
and
can't.
sorry, I was just going to ask. Are me and Snow of similar size?
I guess so. I don't know. How tall are you, Snow?
Snow's 6'3".
And Florian?
Yeah, 5'11".
So there's a fair difference there.
Where's my favorite
I
note?
was just thinking, Snow. Easy for someone like me to, if you had to spare one of your cloaks, I could use that quite easily just to put over.
So as these discussions go on, I'll say you can have the hour as a short rest. If anybody wants to use hit dice to heal up a bit,
Yeah,
you
I'm going to
may
use a
well
couple
do.
of hit dice.
Just need to use one, but
Yeah, I've rolled for me and I've rolled for Celeste as well.
Okay.
Oh, D10s. For
Ooh,
some reason, I forgot the Blood Hunter uses D10s.
Okay, because you
use
haven't been playing
barbarian
that
or
for a while.
paladins.
You're fairly new to this Blood Hunter malarkey.
Yeah, I know.
You're the same height as me, Florian.
How tall
As
is
me,
Florian?
rather.
5'11".
Is there a limit of how many hit dice you can use?
You can use up to however many you have.
And they
Okay.
only recover on long rest. You recover half of them. I
But
just
once
realised
you've used them,
Melissa
that's it. They're used until long rest.
actually stands taller than Florian because of her heels. Because she's 5'11". As well.
Idris have a short rest as well.
Bridris can indeed have a short rest as she sits upon the corpse of an orc. Sorry.
29.
Do it.
I do. On one case, yeah, in terms of making a cover story, have one idea. Certainly. And I'll reach into my one of my pockets and produce the bracelet that Miette swiped off of my
Acquired.
sister.
All right,
Acquired.
yeah, okay.
Acquired. I could, depending on what the situation's like in that city. I don't know if my family's moved, extended out into Dornham yet. As far as I know, they weren't interested. I could masquerade as my sister. I'm a decent whiz with my makeup, and I still vaguely remember how she was looking recently.
Could suggest issues with that, but if you're determined.
Well, there are plenty of issues. I'm just throwing it as an idea out. I'm not the best at, you know. But to be honest, I don't like the idea of hiding, to be honest. Feels like we're... I don't know.
well, we've still got
Like
about
better criminals, which we technically still are at the moment.
Technically, we are not criminals because the outcome of the trial by combat was very, very clear. Either we die or we survive and we are cleared. We survived, therefore
problem-
we are cleared.
No, they don't know we survived though. We haven't been back to Redport. We haven't been to a trading post since. And I am still convinced that there was magic involved in that because those were not the sewers of Redport.
I mean, sure.
But if we do run into trouble, we're more likely to face a fairer trial in Dornham.
I mean, we've still got about a day's walk away, haven't we? So we can think of things and
Mull
come
this
up
off
with
as we
something.
go, but it feels like a lot of effort to just go to a library. I think we've been away from civilization for too long.
Yeah, too sketchy, I suppose. Too
Why don't we
suspicious.
just go in the bloody city and see what happens? All this
Yes.
chatter. I mean, we got no solution, have we? Can't change us because we're dwarves. I mean, we can't grow 2 feet or turn into women. Although
Wouldn't you
I
know?
suppose we could shave one of those bears and glue all the fur on and pretend we're baby tabaxis.
I'll just be
That's
stressed.
actually just hurt my brain in real life, James. Well, like I said, we've got a good day's travel ahead of us, so we can either ponder on it or just decide when we get at the gates.
Let's go.
Okay, so you're moving off now, are you?
Yes.
Okay. So, as you head off into the afternoon, I would like somebody to roll a d20, please.
I'm not going to.
I will, if you want.
Okay.
You
Oh
all
no,
know I
Fiddy
can roll
dice.
great.
Come on, Fiddy, what you got?
I'm gonna roll my specific
It's your travel dice, is it?
Glory and dice, yeah, my specific one's what I got. But they're really hard to read. Ooh, 19.
19.
Ooh.
Okay. So, as you travel into the afternoon, there's starts to sort of cloud over as the afternoon goes on. Starts to rain, little light drizzle. It's not a downpour by any means, but it's not particularly comfortable. It's sort of that rain that gets in your face every now and again. It's like, but it's not really wet enough to take cover, so you push on through. Bridris, Gus, is still dragging this orc with her, as it's now hers or his.
Okay.
So yeah, you travel for a few more hours. It gets to sort of late afternoon, early evening. The landscape gets more and more farmed, as it were. It's more and more towards civilization rather than just rolling hills. There are fields with crops in. There are boundaries, and you can see in the distance of these fields people working. The occasional homestead. There's no real road as yet, but you can see the beginnings of one coming up about, I don't know, sort of half a mile away or so, where there's a sort of track that starts to go in between the fields. It's not paved or anything, it's just a dirt track, and it's defined more by the hedges that are keeping whatever is in the fields, rather than spilling out onto this sort of bridle way, as it were.
You say that makes us roughly about half a day away?
I would say so. I mean, you can push on and probably arrive at like 3 o'clock in the morning, or you can...
Oh yeah, I was just gonna... does it look like there's any cover anywhere where we are? Any
make a perception
trees
check.
or any...
Perception
really
or
good places?
survival, up to you.
12 plus survival perception. They're both the same, so 15.
15.
On...
There's
Yeah,
nothing obvious. It's kind of open here. I mean, you can see a house about a mile away. So it's sort of a collection of farm buildings off to your right. To your left, nothing for as far as you can see. And the visibility is getting less as it's raining more heavily now. Perhaps, I don't know, you may want to ask someone who's been here before, perhaps. Just a thought.
Is there anywhere around here, Miette, where
There's always barns. Villagers are quite happy to let people sleep there if that would suit everybody.
I just had an idea that maybe if we get an early night and go into the city early-ish in the morning, we would escape those big crowds just in time for when libraries and stuff is open.
Possible.
About half a day's travel away, so wake up at sort of like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, get in there for 8. People are just rising a lot
3,
quieter.
4 o'clock? That's kicking out time. Can't have us getting up then.
But Yorick will be going into the city where there is beer. You can start early.
See, now, this is why you're the smart one. This is why you're the leader.
What about that farmstead over there, Mia? Maybe you can hunk up in one of their barns.
Excuse me, sorry. Let me see what I remember. So, probably just be on survival, memory, history.
Make a quick history or survival check.
I suppose equally good. That's a 16, actually.
16. The farmstead you remember vaguely. You haven't stopped there before, but if you remember correctly, off to the left somewhere, if you've got your bearings correctly, there is one of the Tabaxi Wandering Gust's camps that's hidden
Yeah.
in
Even better.
on on the edge of a hill that sort of goes up, and it can't be seen from either side of the hill, and it sort of goes. There's a hidden passageway inside the hill, if you remember correctly.
One of those ones, if I remember correctly.
If you remember correctly.
I have an idea. Bear with me for a moment.
Right.
I shall go investigate.
Okay.
So as not to embarrass myself by leading people into a bramble patch or something.
Okay. So you wander down off to the left for a while. Give me a quick D20 roll, please. Actually, no. Give me a D8.
But that was a good roll.
Sorry.
4.
4. Yeah. So, wandering down this way, you're looking for signs that say there's a camp somewhere. And eventually you uncover one that says that it is indeed the camp you remember. You're about an hour away.
I shall go back and finish the rest of my party. Provided, there's no signs of, oh God, we've all been massacred.
Not so far.
Excellent.
So, with Miette leading the way into the darkening gloom and rain, which is getting heavier
you trust
and
me,
heavier.
right?
I'd probably I'd help you out. I don't know where I'm going, but I'd definitely help you out if you pointed stuff out in directions and that. So.
Yeah, okay.
I'll do.
Well, you can do a survival check with advantage, or you could do one each. Up to you.
Up to you.
I'd almost been kind to say one each, given the way my dice rolls have been going tonight.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was a good choice.
What did you get?
I got 10.
Okay, I got 16.
16. I'll say that it takes you a little longer than an hour. It takes about an hour and a half. But eventually, Miette, with Florian's assistance, you find the most recent sign to say that, yes, the camp is still here. It's still available. And the rest of you see in the gloom, those with dark vision can see it fairly well. There's a barely noticeable track that sort of winds up this hill, but not straight. It sort of meanders backwards and forwards, and then Miette and Florian just vanish, and the rest of you sort of pause, and then you look again. Who's got dark vision? Okay.
Everyone but the humans.
So, the four of you have to look really closely, and you can see there's just a vague, almost like a cut in the hillside. It doesn't look anything particular. And as you walk, unless you get really close, and then it opens out into a tunnel entrance behind some brambles and just other cover. It's very cunningly hidden. It looks completely natural, and it only looks about a foot deep from the outside. But as you walk in, it opens out into a proper little tunnelway, and you can see.
I take it it's too small for Bridris to go through.
Yeah, I would say so. It's a tight squeeze for the larger members of the party.
Okay.
Bridris is quite happy to stay outside guarding her orc.
Well,
Unless you want to tell her otherwise.
Yeah, I think it might be time for you to go home for a little rest because, you can't come inside here because you're a bit too big.
Right. You'll look after the orc though, right?
Well, it'll still be here when you get back.
Perfect. Gone.
Yes.
I don't like the way you said that, James.
Well, it will still be there when she gets back. Because I'm not picking it up.
Well, if we move off before you summon her again, you're going to have to. Otherwise, you're going to have to explain to her why it's not there.
Oh, it's going to be right here when she comes back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We won't be.
I
But
said it was going to be right there when she got back. And it's still going to be right there when she gets back.
You're the one who's going to get eaten.
That's fine.
So, as you all troop into this passageway, Miette, your paw automatically goes out traces the symbol as you walk down on the right, and then a little bit further on the left as the tunnel branches out into a sort of rectangular carved space. And this looks, to the rest of you, looks man-made. Somebody has carved this out of the hillside. The tunnel is very natural feeling, but I mean the dwarves would know that the tunnel is not natural at all. It's been made to look natural, but inside is not natural at all. It's square. It's got cutouts. You know, as you look in mausoleums and catacombs, you've got those big cutout parts set into the walls. They're like that. They're like sleeping quarters almost. And you can see there are chests. Opening the chest, there is bedding, soft down blankets and pillows. I mean, they're a little musty, but they are comfy enough. There's a fire pit. You can, looking up, there is a small crack in the ceiling, which you assume goes out to the open air somewhere. You can't see sky or anything through it, but Miette would light a fire and the smoke. You can watch the smoke go up out of this, and you would assume it dissipates somehow into the air. As Miette has just lit a fire, seemingly unconcerned. So, your quarters for the night, if there's anything anybody wishes to do, discuss, etc.
I'll just have a look in whatever chests are in there, just looking for like a healer's chest. You know, most camps we've stayed at, there's been like one with bedding, one with food, and one with a couple of supplies in.
There is a one with a stock of bandages. It's not too many, but there's a few.
I'm not going to take all of them. Just take one. Close the chest again, and then just walk up to Trellador. And just I won't say anything, but just hand it to him. Smile on my face.
One. Is that all you could find?
There's more, but other people may come here.
They're not the. I think our need is greater than people who come after us. Always.
We're half a day away from the city, Trellador. We can get more there.
You do know how this feels, yeah?
Of course, I've had it before you.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't a rhetorical question. I'm telling you, you do know this how this feels.
So change it now to a clean one tonight, and we can get you more tomorrow.
Yes, okay. I mean, Celeste taught me how to do it. Quite good at it.
I'll just hand it to him. I'll walk away, but I'm going to keep an eye on him, just to see how well he's doing putting it on, because I know that I am proficient in medicine and can give a hand if needed.
No.
Okay.
We
Trellador?
need a different kind of hand.
Later.
Oh no. Okay. Give me a medicine check, please, Trellador.
Oh, that's not bad. 18.
18.
No,
Yeah.
19.
19. Perfect. So you strip down, take the old bandage off, and are you doing this facing away from the group, or you just don't care?
Don't care.
Okay.
I'm going to show them how, like, I'm not wincing or anything. Trying my best to show how. You know how that Florin used to make a big deal out of it and
Yeah. Okay.
whine about it.
Why do you always say this? It was only a big deal when we were right near the fucking Prince of Hell herself.
If I see it, having been completely oblivious to all this, if I see this, I'll wander over and that looks sore, and poke it.
Don't you?
Okay.
You all right?
Make a Constitution saving throw, please, Trellador.
Ooh. Ooh. 10.
10. This Gus sort of jabs his finger in it. Ah! It really fucking hurts. Because you've just taken all of the bandages off, and it is open and it is sore. And you can see, Gus, there is bruising all over his chest around these wounds.
Do a little heal. What are you moaning about?
I'll catch
I'm not-
Melissa's eye and just give her a wry smile.
There'll be like a flash of anger on my face. Compose myself.
Yeah, that
It's
really
fine.
hurt. It really, really hurt.
Do you tend to poke things that hurt?
I
thought you
don't-
said-
I poke quite a lot of stuff.
You poked me in the eye once.
Vinny, stop it. I can see you do it. Don't.
I flash back to the whole
No,
Midwards.
no.
Anywho,
Serious question here. Let's get off this. Get out of my mind. How different does it look to when I had it?
Well, it's upside down from when you had it, because obviously you're looking at it like that and you're looking at that.
Yeah.
It's, it looks very different indeed. And Trelador is broader than you, so it doesn't come quite to the edges of his chest.
Yeah.
But it looks fairly similar.
Doesn't look like anything's changed from when I last had it then and from when he took it from me. I still have the scars, don't I?
Yeah, your scars have healed though,
Yes.
so you don't. It's not an open wound anymore like it was. It is healed, and the pattern is still there. Like when you get a burn or a brand, it's like that. Just sort of burns it almost, where the skin is sort of that. Looks a bit sort of elasticy on your chest.
But it's not any worse than when it exchanged from me to him.
No, it looks the same sort of depth. I mean, there's a bit more bruising because he uses his muscles in a different way. You've just had a fight, so he's kind of.
Or you could say he has muscles rather than uses them in a different way.
That's not true. Florian has muscles and does use them in a very different way to Trelador.
It's just sinewy rather than being buff.
He's dexterous rather than muscly.
Don't mind.
But anyway,
Jesus Christ. Better Florian night tonight. Fuck me.
I'm not me.
Later.
You are the monk. You will go unconscious at some point.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so Trelador, you managed to get with your roll. You managed to get your bandage done correctly,
Yeah.
remembering watching Celeste do it. Get it on with no outside help apart from Gus just like poking you every now and again, which isn't really helping. But
Oh no,
See?
I'd only do it once. I wouldn't want to hurt him because I didn't realise it was such a big girly.
In with the medical supply chest, Chaz.
Yes.
Are there any herbs or anything in
there
here?
are, yeah.
Can I decipher what herbs
Make a
are
quick
there?
medicine check.
You know what, Trelador? You should put some alcohol on that to keep it sterile. We've still got some of that mead in the flask. If you want me to pour some on,
No. I mean,
you could drink some if you want. That might help.
I've heard about healing properties of like honey, but no, this won't heal with that.
You can still drink some if you want. It might take the pain away a bit.
There is no pain
Well, why did you just scream then?
because you poked me and I didn't want to hurt your feelings,
Oh, right. Okay. Also, thank you. I appreciate it.
Ow, you're hurting me, that sort of thing. I do it with Florian all the time.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like you have to act like you are stronger than, boost your confidence again.
There's a stifled giggle from Melissa at the line of "I do it for Florian all the time."
Because we're grown ups. I like that. That's good. Awesome.
25.
25. Yeah, there are herbs and poultices here that some are for deadening pain, others are for staunching or covering up burns and cuts to reduce swelling, those sorts of herbs that you know. There's a couple there that you don't know what they are. You could possibly ask Miette, she may know. But yeah, most of them are healing of some kind.
Is there, because I never knew this, right? So, I'm proficient in herbalism kit and medicine.
Okay.
And for some reason tonight, I have only just kind of read what the herbalism kit does as such. But it contains a variety of instruments, blah, 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 blah. Vials used by herbalists to create remedies and potions. Proficiency with this kit lets you add your proficiency, blah, 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 blah. To identify or apply herbs. Also, proficiency with this kit is required to create antitoxins and potions and any potion of healing.
If you have the materials, yeah.
Can I do that with any of the materials that are in this box?
Ooh, let's have a look.
I really thought you were going to insight check her.
We just wanted to get a proficiency, so yeah. Okay, make a herbalism roll. So medicine plus your proficiency.
Oh, so I can add my medicine plus the proficiency to it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think it's the first time I've ever done this. Well, 1 for the herbalism roll and 2 for adding proficiency to anything. Oh, that's really good. 26.
26. Okay. Roll me a d6, please.
3.
3. You would estimate, with the herbs and bits and pieces that are here and what you have, you could make 3, I don't know what they're called now, healing potions. Hang on a second. So a quick. Okay. Let's just have a look. You can make 3. I would say 3 potions of healing, which are 2d4 plus 2, if you want to. Or you can make 2 of the next one up, which is 4d4 plus 4, I believe.
They're the greater ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, how long would that take me to do?
You could probably knock that up in a couple of hours, but it's early yet, so yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay. I will start doing that then. But I will start creating the 2 greater potions of healing.
Okay.
And it'll probably take me a bit longer because in between I'd take a nibble of food from whatever's being cooked. And
sure, I'll say it'd take you sort of 2.5 hours to get that done.
Yeah. Okay.
With interruptions for having a bite to eat.
Yeah. Let me know when that's done, and I'll just add them to it rather than do it too early.
Okay. So, anybody else want to do anything? Yet.
How's it going, Yorick, with my crossbow?
I was about to put an hour in on that, actually.
When do you think I'll be able to get it back? I miss it.
Well, it's going to take me at least 5 months.
5 months? I thought you were good at this. You're winding me up, aren't you? Yeah, I should have.
Yeah, of course I am.
I fall for it every time.
I know. Just a couple more days, really, if I get the time.
Righto.
Maybe 3 more days. Well, 2 days after tonight, if I get stuff done now.
All right. In that case, I'll sit and polish my crossbow.
Okay.
I beg your pardon.
That's good.
Is that what the dwarves are calling it now, eh? Polish your crossbow.
Polishing the weapon.
Indeed. So, as Yorick sits down to work his magic on the crossbow.
I want to check the Wandering Gus message box, as it were.
Okay. You wander over.
I'm trying to determine when the last
Okay. So,
group is there.
last used probably looks fairly recently, probably about a month or two ago, maybe 2 months ago.
Okay.
And the message is fairly clear, heading to the Midwood. That's pretty much, it was pretty rapidly carved. It was heading to the Midwood. Everybody else should go. That's it. Just as a sort of shout out to get to the Midwoods. So
Yeah.
I want to pull out my
weapon?
thinker's tools and my jeweler's tools,
Okay.
and sort of lay them down on my cloak, and then pull out sort of another, and begin to carve a new sort of symbol, like I have done before, but taking Yorick's previous advice into account.
Okay.
And sort of slightly refining the process.
Okay.
But this is probably going to take a few days to complete, so we're just going to begin.
Sure.
The
Okay. Well,
initial
give me a quick tinker's tool or jewelry tool check.
16 plus whatever else. Would it be dexterity, I suppose?
Yeah, dexterity.
21 then.
21. So yeah, you get a good start on this. Lay the tools out. You get your design in your head, and after speaking to Yorick about how to manipulate materials, you make a fairly good start. It's a promising start. It's starting to take the vague outline of what you want. But yeah, it will take a few more hours to get this done. So, anyone else? Miette? Sorry, Melissa, we did Miette already. So,
I'm gonna kind of find a seat and just spend some time before sleeping, cleaning myself up.
Okay.
And kind of getting myself to the point where I'll be able to make myself look more presentable.
Okay.
I'm going to adjust kind of how my outfit's arranged to make myself look a bit more
merchant, a bit less.
Bit more merchant,
culty.
bit less cult leader. So
Okay.
yeah. So
More
less
merchant,
skin
less cult.
showing,
Okay.
tattoos hidden underneath the jacket, stuff like that.
Okay. Fair enough. So yeah, I'll say that the evening passes. It's warm. It's comfortable down here. The rain, the dampness evaporates from you. You get a good rest. You make good progress on the crossbow. Yorick, I can say you can take at least 3 hours on that if you want.
Yeah.
Same with you, Snow. You can take 3 hours on the jewel crafting. Melissa, yeah, you get everything sort of tidied up, arranged to your liking. Not your liking, but you think will pass as maybe a slightly out there merchant, but a merchant rather than a cult leader, as you say.
Much less makeup than usual.
Yeah.
Hair's tied up a little bit more and tidied up.
So,
probably taking off jewellery.
Yeah.
What I will do as well is as I'm grinding away at this sapphire, sort of all of the dust, I've got a pouch that's pulled open, and I'm just scraping it all off and making sure all of the actual dust that comes off this thing as I carve it goes into the bag.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. I'll say you get.
You probably would have done this each time as well, just to.
Yeah.
Because obviously.
Okay. Well, when you've got a pouch full of dust, we'll work out how much worth that is and adjust accordingly. So, are you setting watches, or are you just falling asleep one by one? What's the plan?
I'll set watches.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll take first watch, because I'll continue working on my thing while we're.
I'll take first watch as well with
Okay.
Snow. Can I add those to my?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So what I was going to do is
Not really.
I'm going to give one to Celeste. Sorry.
Okay.
And then keep the other one myself. So if you can make a note of that, Ash. Or unless you can add it, Chaz, if you can access.
Well, I can, but not the character sheet that Ash is using.
I'll just. It's
So,
a potion of healing, yeah.
A
greater.
potion of greater healing.
Potion of okay. Potion of healing, great. Okay. I'll add one to the equipment, and then because I'll give her all the stuff, and we'll update.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I can add it straight into a sheet, but I won't be able to add what you've already added or what you've done or anything.
Yeah.
So, if we do it one way, then it's clear that that's what's happened. Cool. Okay, so as you are working away on your various things, I want perception checks with disadvantage because you're both busy.
Oh no. 7 plus 5. 12.
12.
Exactly the same.
12. So 2 12s. In your watch, as everybody else sort of goes for a rest, you're finishing up doing your tasks of the evening, and everything's quiet. There's no noises from outside. There's no. Your companions seem to be sleeping comfortably. It's very comfortable here. It's very warm. It's very. You feel a little drowsy because it is comfort. You haven't had comfort for a while. Not since the Midwood.
Not drowsy because of smoke.
No, it's just comfy. The smoke is still disappearing out up the roof somewhere.
It was just how you said it earlier on. I was like,
It's a DM thing.
Yeah.
I have to. So, your watch comes to an end. Nothing untoward happens. Who are you waking up?
How long until late elves, or at least the Trollador would be?
Well, I'll say generally you want 8 hours, and they can have 4, but I'll say your watches are like between 2 and 3 hours each. So you leave them to
halfway through this.
Yeah, those two are sitting there bolt upright with their eyes open, but their whites of their eyes showing because they're creepy.
Okay,
Freeze.
I'll wake Melissa up then.
Okay.
I'll go and wake Yorick up.
Okay.
Yorick,
You.
it's your watch.
All right.
We've taken your suggestions into account and I'm making a new what we discussed before about the symbol.
Oh yeah.
It's going to take a few days, but I think I can do it with the advice that you gave.
All
So
right.
thank
Cool. Well, yeah, no problem. If you need my help with anything, just let me know.
Maybe the setting would be, because that would involve the metal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no problem.
if you would do the next couple of hours and then the elves can take the last stint.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. And then he'll go and sort of settle down and sort of pack his tools away and sort of settle into his cloak in the corner.
Fair enough. So,
I'll pretty much be the same thing to Melissa and do the same.
Thank you, Darren. No, keep an eye.
okay. So, Yorick, Melissa, rubbing the sleep from your eyes. You look around. Your companions are sleeping or just falling asleep. Some perception checks, please.
Is it light in here?
Yeah, the fire is still going. You can see all the walls easily, flickering firelight. There's a few shadows, but nothing too dark you can't see.
I hope you've rolled well.
What'd you get?
Yep. I got 22.
22 and
7.
7. Yeah, Melissa, you're perhaps a little preoccupied with what's going to happen in the city tomorrow, or you're just a bit too sleepy, or any number of other things are keeping you from working out what's going. The flickering firelight on the walls is quite entrancing. It's not quite relaxing, so you're not really paying that much attention. Yorick, you on the other hand, bright as a button. Up, well, you can, the comforting sound of Gus sound asleep snoring, which has been with you for most of your life. You feel a little breeze just waft in from the outside. Just brings that edge of cold into a warm place. Makes you shiver a little bit. It's odd. You don't think Melissa has noticed, and nobody else seems to be stirring in their sleep as if the breeze has affected them. Which is odd because, you know, if the breeze had come in, it should have affected everybody, right?
Okay. I'm gonna get up and go check out the entrance to the cave there.
Okay, you going quietly, or are you just stomping on up?
Reasonably quiet. I'm not on my toes, but
Okay. So you sort of get a little closer to the entrance. You pause and listen. With your 22, you can hear a strange, almost like a ripping noise. Yeah. And then
coming from anywhere in particular.
it's definitely outside. There's a sort
Someone
of
eating an orc.
ripping and tearing sounds. You want to creep a little closer to the entrance? Okay. So you creep up to the entrance, you look out, and it is indeed, there looks to be some sort of feral dogs ripping shreds off the ogre that Bridger's left there. They don't look to be sort of coming in here, they're far too busy eating ogre. But it's odd, there's a definite chill in the air, and the rain is still coming down out here. It's getting quite cold. And you can see the bottom of the hill. It's a bit foggy even. I love that. Debbie went...
Not supposed to be this far fucking out.
The chill in the air, someone from a mountainous region, is that a good chill, a normal chill, an uncomfortable sort of chill?
Until you notice the fog, it was a fairly run-of-the-mill, cold night, rainy, not quite stormy, but definitely rainy air. There was the coldness. You noticed the fog, and whether it's because it's just purely psychosomatic that you saw fog and you felt a little goosebumpy. But apart from that, I mean, you can make a nature check if you like.
Yeah, I'll give it a go with my huge -2 modifier. 6.
6. Seems fairly normal, right? It's raining, it's cold, it's night time.
Probably. I'm going to go back and talk to Melissa then.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey, Garth.
Are you alright? You are awake. You're on watch, right?
Yeah, a little spaced out. Sorry. What's up?
Firstly, there's some wild dog things outside.
Right.
I don't think that's anything to be worried about. They are being, fed by a certain orc carcass.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't Bridger leave that orc out there?
But that did kind of get me looking down the hill, and there's some fog.
Oh boy.
Maybe just normal fog, but worth mentioning.
I hope so. Considering it was raining last night,
It's a bit chilly. It's raining. Fog's quite normal, I think.
Yeah.
But you know,
Best to keep an eye on it.
I'm gonna go and just sit more by the entrance and see if I can just watch it for a while.
Okay.
Come join you.
All
Help
right.
you concentrate a bit.
Yeah.
So-
Cool.
As you get up towards the entrance, Melissa, you feel that chill as well in the air. Seems fairly natural, normal. And you look down the hills where Yorick's pointing, and there's a pack of about 4 or 5 dogs now just worrying away at this carcass. A fight hasn't broken out yet, but it might between themselves. I don't think, not saying they're going to come and fight you, but they're fighting over the corpse. Looking down the hill at the fog, it's strange. You're used to sort of low-lying fog over lowlands like this. You've seen it before. This is sort of moving backwards and forwards. If you look at it long enough, but it's moving very slowly. Make a nature check, the pair of you.
13 this time.
13.
Which dice do I use? Ooh, 20.
20. Yeah, it doesn't look natural. It looks like, very slowly, it looks as though tendrils of fog are just trying to searching for something. It's not coming up the hill, but it's definitely searching for something down there.
Yeah, that fog.
Not right, is it?
Definitely. It's
It's the bad fog.
way too deliberate for. No, it's not coming up here, so we'll see. Best to keep an eye.
Yeah, well, I think in our previous experience of the fog, it can move kind of deliberately, but I
Yeah,
don't like travel uphill like this. So
it looks like it's trying to find something. So it could be looking for us. I do suspect that perhaps those orcs that came from up near Drummond Way, that, as Trelador described, might have been moved by this stuff as well.
maybe. I mean, it looks like it's trying to sort of find its keys in the dark. You know, when you drop something in the dark.
Yeah.
And fog doesn't have eyes, does it? So, it's just sort of...
Blindly searching out.
Well, I'm going to sit down right here and just keep an eye.
There we go. Caught back up.
So, as you sit and you watch this fog look for its keys in the dark, your watch comes to an end. The dogs appear to be satisfied and have gone away with quite a lot of the corpse missing now.
And you hear a, have you checked the last place you left them?
Course I looked there. It's not in my bloody pocket.
Have you checked your other coat?
Your watch comes to an end. The 2 elves awaken partway through your watch, but you awake, Trelador. Celeste awakes. You look around. Melissa and Yorick are missing. They're not in.
I'll get up and I'll go look for them.
Okay. So as you go up the passageway, you can see them both sort of sitting, peering out of the entranceway.
I'm going to try and creep up on.
Make a stealth check.
I saw it coming.
how this is going to go.
I
well.
probably won't see it coming, but
So let's have a
Yeah.
look.
5.
5, yeah.
Oh.
The pair of you hear somebody coming up the corridor, and by its tread, you know it's Trelador.
hey, Trelador.
Right, big man.
Hello. What are you doing out here?
I'll just kind of motion out towards the fog down the valley.
Trelador, you see
Forward.
this fog sort of drifting backwards and forwards.
Oh, I see.
Old friend of ours. We've been watching it.
What do we do about it?
Well, don't think
Much
there's
we can.
anything we can do from here.
I mean, should we wake Mia up? I assume she's done some of her symbols. I mean, we're in this camp of her people. Would the symbols be here? You know,
We've been sat here for at least an hour, and it's just sort of doing its thing down the bottom of the hill. I don't
It
think
looks like it's searching for something, but it's not found it. So.
yeah. I think it's all right. I'm gonna go get some sleep though, because I'm knackered, and I'm talking from Martin as well as Yorick.
Well, okay, what we'll do is before Trelador starts his lonely watch, we'll have a quick break.
Cool.
And that way we can grab a drink, get a little bit more energised, and come back very shortly for part 2. See you in a bit. welcome back. Whoop'em? Whoop'em Gangnam style, perhaps. Welcome back to part 2, where Trelador is taking the watch. So, as Melissa and Yorick head back down to their beds, Trelador, quick perception check, please.
16.
As you sit and you watch this fog, you sit for like half an hour. Fog seems to just start to dissipate, much like a natural fog would, and the rain stops. It all seems to be going back to normal. You can hear some sort of night birds. And then you look around and there are carrion birds, crows, sitting on this orc corpse, helping themselves. But everything.
I say to myself, last up. Even the fog's scared of.
And as your watch continues, you can see the sun starting to poke up above the horizon. The fog is completely vanished. Your watch is over.
I'm waking up.
Okay. You are awoken by Trelador, being his normal subtle self.
Can't sleep all day. Come on, get up.
Thank you, Trelador.
Trelador.
The fog went, as fog does.
Well,
The fog?
oh
was-
yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah,
fog's
right.
back.
Yarick saw it, but we think the fog that we encountered up north was outside last night. Never came up too close to us.
Whereabouts did he see it?
It was just down the hillside, down in the lower parts.
Where we came, Chaz?
No.
Am I still asleep at this point, or am I hearing this?
Trelador has woken everybody up, is what he said, so you would have heard it.
Okay.
Could be a possibility that that's what drove the ox out.
That's what I was saying last night. Kept traveling south. That's why
It didn't
one
move.
gusts bled through.
Well, it's fog, of course.
No, I mean, as in, it didn't move anywhere else apart from where you saw it.
No, it just kept ranging about like it was looking for something, searching for something.
Something or someone.
Who knows? May have been searching for us.
You know what, Florian? It didn't say.
I so wanted to say that, but I wasn't there.
I thought you were getting smart, Florian. Keep saying.
Roughly what time would it be, Chaz? In
Just now, when you've all woken up, it's early, probably about 4 o'clock in the morning, just after sunrise is just happening.
get a quick breakfast and then head into the city early. Less people about.
Yeah, I mean, if you leave now, you should be there for 9ish.
Can I just,
that's a good plan.
have I got a beard?
Yeah. The
Like
beginnings
proper-
of one, certainly.
Like an unnatural amount of growth.
For you,
Howard.
yeah.
Okay. I won't say.
I'm so proud of you.
Are we just gonna go in then and put a cloak on and just see what happens rather than?
Well, I could tuck my beard down my breastplate and put a cloak on and pretend to be a small woman.
What's your fascination about pretending to be a small woman with a beard?
What? It's the
So
first
yes-
time I've ever mentioned it. What are you talking about, fascination, you weirdo?
You mentioned it last night on our walk.
You must have dreamed about it. You're the weirdo.
Oh dear. Okay,
I mean-
you do all notice that Melissa is, from her efforts last night and this morning, is much plainer than you're used to. There is a distinct toning down feel of Melissa's normal look. I mean, normally she's very beautifully made up, but this morning, while still beautiful, there's a lot less makeup going on. There's a lot less colour overall.
Far less aggressive. Well, we shall also probably. I think if we try covering up too much, it'll be conspicuous. So we should go in with confidence, I feel.
Yeah, I'll take my red robe off, or like jacket off, and stick it in my backpack. And I'll also just untie the bun back of my hair. Just give it a little bit of a.
Oh, you're
So-
shaking your locks out, are you?
I mean, I would do the action, but I don't know how to do it.
Because
So.
he's worth it.
Yeah, I'm sure no one will recognise me anyway, because
Are you
last
having a Timotei moment?
time I had a shiny breastplate on covered in gems, and now I haven't.
So, who are the people that are going to stand out here? As far as what you said the other night, that elves are uncommon here, but not
Uncommon,
unheard
but
of.
not unexpected.
It's the
Tabaxia.
humans and the dwarf.
Humans ain't entirely unfounded. I mean, it's
So,
not too
mainly
far
the
away
dwarf.
from Redport. Mainly the dwarves. We should also probably not have Celeste in her disguise to look like me, because that would be very over the top.
Is there any magical way of getting rid of the beards to make them look like halflings? Or...
You know, your idea of me sitting on your shoulders won't work, because that would make us 10 foot tall. Nearly.
Pass for an orc.
But we ain't green.
Well, it ain't easy being green.
But then if we did that, Yorick would have to go on top, because he's the ugly one.
Well, we got a good few hours before we get up to the city, so we can see how busy it is. And
I mean, there's nothing more inconspicuous than bickering outside of a city about how to sneak into.
Yeah, and
Shame we don't have a cart, then we could hide in the back.
Or a boat. Of course, no.
Or a boat, we could hide in the back.
well, we'll figure it out. I mean, you know, at this point, I'm helping Celeste to be a bit more to her normal self and
Okay, fair enough.
So,
be.
who's leading this? Who's going to do the talking? I mean, there's quite a few that like doing the talking, but
I don't like doing the talking.
If nobody has any objections, I can certainly talk my way out of most things.
you can also talk your way into quite a lot.
Certainly, I can.
Mia, from
How do
your
you think I came so good in the temple?
previous experiences and adventures here, if we went to one of the farmsteads, do you think that they'd loan out an old cart and maybe a horse if we could?
I doubt loan. Perhaps rent.
Oh, I've got an idea. If we can get a car, then we could stitch together a costume, and me and Yorick could pretend to be a horse. Of course, he'd be the back end.
And what makes you think that they're not going to check in the fucking cart when we get there? What is the point? Why don't we just walk?
We'd be
Why
the
go
horse.
on?
Florian gets up and starts walking then. Snow's obviously not wanting to do anything. So
I'm sorry, I'm just picturing the dwarves in a horse. It's like
in a horse
it's like a
suit,
Shetland pony.
the other side of a massive horse.
I agree with Snow. I
Awesome.
think we're overthinking this. I think we should just go in. If
Well, I
people
thought-
take a problem, then I'll do my best to handle it.
I'm sure you'll do very well.
I'm sure I will, Trellador. Thank you very much.
You look very nice.
Thank you, Trellador. I have to say, your beard is very becoming on you.
Yes. I might embrace, I have to get to know these dwarfs, so, maybe it's my way of becoming a dwarf.
What if Celeste turned us into horses? Because she can do that, can't she?
I think a horse walking around in the city would be very conspicuous, Gus. I think we should just get some cloaks on you two and make our way into the city like we're meant to be there.
Oh, righty-tighty then.
I won't leave the passageway, Chaz, but I'll just have a quick look out and see
Make
what's
a
about.
quick perception check.
Non-natural 20.
Okay, so as you look out, you can see the corpse of the orc is looking rather worse for wear. There's quite a lot of it missing now, and indeed you can see birds still pecking at it, carrion birds.
This is not going to be happy.
There we go. But apart from that, it all looks quiet. It looks like it's going to be a clear day. It's not blue skies and sunny. It's kind of overcast, but it's not actually rainy. There's no sort of thunderous looking clouds anywhere. So it looks like you should be fairly clear to walk to the city.
I'll wait for the others to get to the entrance and then head off with them.
Okay. So unless anybody's staying behind to do anything, I'll assume you're making your way down the hillside and back through the sort of tracks that are almost like pathways between these hedges, between these fields. So you walk for a few hours. Let somebody roll a d20, please.
I'll do it.
Right.
7.
7. Marvellous. Can you roll me d6, please?
D6, yes.
Yeah.
1.
Ambush,
1.
ambush,
Fantastic.
ambush.
So, as you are walking now, the landscape is kind of flattening out a bit. It's sort of gentle hill rather than tall. And you're walking along in one of these sort of grooves between these fields. And out from another hedgerow just in front of you steps a young boy, about 15, 16, long swept back horns, pale orange red skin, sort of walking along, sort of turns the corner, sees you lot and just freezes.
You alright, mate?
Good morning to you.
No need to be scared,
And-
lad.
What are you doing right like here in our fields? Why are you in
Where
our
what?
fields?
Sorry, we may have gotten a little bit off course. We're making trails to Dornan.
Dornham?
We're
Well,
we on the
you-
right track here?
well, yeah, I suppose you could use this track to go to Dornham. It'd be a lot quicker if you went that way. And he points to the opposite track to where he was coming from. So if you go down that way, you'll have to go all the way round. That'll be the Balfour farm down there. You don't want to go down there.
Go down
There-
there.
They're a bit odd down there. I
Why?
heard, right? I heard that old man Balfour, right, what he did was he sacrificed his cow, right? And hang on, you're not from Durham, are you?
No,
Oh, right. Yes.
but-
I mean, I didn't hear nothing like that. Nope. But yeah, Durham, that way.
right.
He just sort of stands there and waits for you to move off.
So they're into sacrificing cows.
Well, I would sacrifice a cow for hamburgers.
I didn't say anything about sacrificing cows. Can't
That
prove
happens
I
every
did
day.
it.
Well, thank you for your advice. We'll get making trails.
It's all right.
It's good to get some advice from fine young gentlemen such as yourself.
Is he being evasive and trying to get us to go?
Insight check.
Fiddy, what's wrong with you?
I know.
He's on mute. That's what it is.
19.
19. No, he seems to genuinely believe that Dornham is down that way. He is being evasive, but not about that. He's being evasive about Balfour and the cow.
No cows were harmed in the making of this film.
Exactly. And he
Yeah.
stands and watches as you all go down the path he's chosen. And then turns and runs back up the track he'd come down.
Strangers. There's strangers in the farmlands.
Exactly. You suspect that within the next half an hour, a lot of people are going to know that you lot are here.
It would seem that he was being on the up and up about us going this way to Donham, but evasive on other matters.
Yeah, well, superstition.
Oh, I think we might as well just walk in now. I think
Yeah.
town like this,
that's-
city like this, people are going to know there's a group of people walking to Donham.
And we may stand a better chance among the merchant folk than the farmer folk.
Yeah.
So as you're continuing on down this track, you can see in the distance, as you're walking, the city of Dornham. There's not sort of like tall spires or anything. The tallest building is maybe 3 floors, 4 floors high. It looks like it's a centre building, almost like a castle-like building in the middle of town. The town is walled, and you can see the sort of ancient brown-grey stone walls, and the tower seems to be made of this same stone. The other buildings, there's a lot of that sort of stone going on. There are different coloured houses. Some people paint their houses different colours. As you approach, you get to see more and more of this, and the pathway sort of opens out onto a wide, almost like a causeway between what look like almost like rice paddy fields. It's almost like a causeway between them, either side, as you approach the city, and you can see a large arched gateway in the walls. And the walls are about, you would say, about 25, 30 feet high. And this gateway is probably about 30 feet across and about 12, 15 feet high. It's a fairly impressive looking thing. There are no gates on it, but it is an arched gateway. And you can see into the town. It looks fairly busy. There's people going about their business. It's early morning yet. You estimate roughly about 8:30, 9 o'clock. There's shops starting to open up. There's traders starting to call out wares. It's a fairly busy town. There are people going in and out of the gates with produce on hand carts. There are lots and lots of tieflings here. Plenty of orcs, none as big as the ones you encountered, but still finely dressed in the most part. There are some farmer types, of both orcs and tieflings, and you see a fair scattering of halflings about. The halflings tend to be on street stalls, not shops, street stalls. So there's a lot of So like early morning food carts are happening, and the halflings appear to be running a lot of those. Everybody else seems to be moving produce about or haggling over prices of produce. It's a busy market town that's become a city. So as you approach the gateway, what would you like to do?
I'm going to lead the way with the confidence that only money can buy.
Okay.
Just kind of take in the surroundings as we're walking through.
Okay, make me your choice, performance or persuasion.
Snow sort of pull his cloak across and clasp it, and then draw himself up to his full height and very sort of in the style of the Treading Waters traders, very imperiously walk at Melissa's shoulder.
Okay, same. I want performance or persuasion. Anybody else doing anything particular to get in the mood for the city?
I'll stand behind them and act like a bodyguard. Have the axe out, just stoic face.
Okay,
Hide help.
I'd like an intimidation or performance check. Up to you. What'd you get, Melissa?
19.
19. Nice. Snow?
Persuasion 23.
23.
Yeah, I'd probably be somewhere near Chelador at the back and just kind of looking confident, but also looking in awe at the city, as if obviously it is my first time being here, but overselling it a little bit, just so.
Okay.
But as I'm looking around and looking at buildings or whatever it is, I'm also looking in for anything else.
Make me a deception or performance, and depending on that, we'll roll a perception check.
I would like to hang off back in the group. So I'm still part of the group, but I just want to observe what happens in terms of people's reception to Melissa and Snow.
Okay, make a perception check for that.
18 for performance.
18, yeah. Trenador?
10.
10. Okay. Scary dude.
I'll stay sort of in the middle and keep my hood up, hunch shoulders, and try to sort of look as inconspicuous as possible.
Okay, and Yorick, you're doing similar or something else?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just try to...
Can the pair of you give me
check, maybe?
either stealth or performance? Or deception. Entirely up to you. Whichever one you want to do.
23.
23.
Oh, God. Do I take the +1 at disadvantage or the -2?
Well, there would be a disadvantage for the stealth. You're not trying to be quiet. You're trying to be sneaky.
I'll take that then. 15. Sorry,
15.
I went over.
Okay. Well, they're all pretty high rolls, apart from, the intimidating barbarian dude who looks not quite so scary as he thinks he is.
What he thinks.
Yeah, he thinks he definitely thinks he's very scary. Doesn't appear to be today. So, Miet, make a perception check, and Florian, I want you to make a perception check as well, because you were looking for details and people. 3. At the moment, you can't tell how it's going. People don't seem to be reacting at all at the moment to you lot. You're just another bunch of people coming in to do trade. Florian?
17.
17. Okay. Looking around up at the buildings in wonderment of this great city. It's not that great, but, you see there's very few buildings with a second floor. They're usually like 1 story. The few that are 2-story tend to be like grain houses where you've got that door at the top with a pulley for moving sacks of grain up and down, or sacks of merchandise, whatever it is. Some of them are occupied, but it looks like they're just busy working. Nobody seems to be paying attention particularly to you lot. There's nobody sort of spying on you or anything like that. So, as you walk through the city with the confidence of Melissa and Snow, sort of pushing a bow wave, as it were, you see these food carts. The smells are great. Where you want to go? You want to go to the centre of town? Do you want to go to the docks? Where do you want to go?
To the centre of town.
Centre of town. Try and find the library. Is that what your plan?
Kind of looking for evidence of the library as we go.
Okay. So, as you push on through some of the crowds, as you get to the centre, it gets less crowded. Strangely, the action seems to be down, or the noise seems to be down to the west, down towards where the river is, and the docks, which you would expect, the trading ports down there, and the Treading Waters clan would be much in evidence down that way. Up here, not so much. Looks like there's some administration type buildings, a lot of richer looking houses, perhaps. There's sort of green space. Whereas before the houses and buildings were clustered together with no spaces in between. Here the buildings there's definite almost streets between them. And the buildings have a sort of garden and some are walled.
Are they as decadent as Redport? Well, not quite.
Not really, no. I mean, they've got pretensions to be that way and get that way. You can tell there's money here. But maybe the building materials just aren't as readily available, or people just don't put that much money into their buildings. It's not a uniform colour like Redport. There's obviously no law and ordinance that says you must have a red building. There's multicolours here. Some of the buildings have huge glass walls, which you've not seen in Redport. So there's obviously somebody with skill here. Building.
Just my facial expression a bit to be kind of how quaint. They're copying us kind of look to me.
Okay. So as you get deeper and deeper into this rather wealthy area, you can see there is up ahead a large building with columns and the words in does anybody speak Infernal or Draconic?
Draconic.
Okay. The words both in Infernal and Draconic say library.
On our way out of the west side, coming into the centre, still as it gets quieter, I probably wouldn't put up that whole "oh my god, look at this," but looking more into things. Any buildings or anything anywhere with my scar, anything to do with it on, with any little notched out or into brickwork or anything like that.
Give me a perception check.
Do.
Absolutely, that is definitely what is happening.
18.
18. There doesn't appear to be, no. There are various buildings with various signs on. There are, sorry, in the Discord chat, somebody's put Mr. Bean taking pictures of a car. Mr. Bean goes to America or whatever it was. No, there are buildings with various symbols on, but nothing you recognise. There is a looks like a high quality inn. There also looks to be some sort of theatre, perhaps, or bordello of some kind. You're not really sure. It's difficult to tell. It seems to be closed currently.
Nothing which is obvious, like on a sign where it's going to be like in the corner or something like that. It's not anything like that either.
What did you roll for your perception?
18.
There is one building that has a sign on, but you don't recognise the marks.
Could I?
Yes.
Intellect.
You or Snow would recognise this. It's the same symbol that you would have seen me at back in Dar, when you went to that particularly nondescript building to speak to some nondescript people.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a struggle look.
Indeed.
How nondescript.
Indeed. So yeah, you only noticed it, Florian, because it was slightly out of character with the rest of the buildings. It was slightly, almost trying too hard to blend in.
Yeah, okay.
And not draw attention to itself. So,
Cool.
the library is in front of you. Sorry, Miette, you were going to ask me something.
No, I was just before we walked into the library, I was going to try and remember what it was we were looking for in the library because I can't remember right now.
Always handy.
I found a book.
Look, all the books.
Is the trading post inside from where we are?
No, the trading post is down in the west quarter where the river is. You came in from the east,
Yeah.
and sort of travelled to the centre of the city. All the noise and activity, even more so, is happening down at the west where the docks are.
Cool.
Up here, very few people wandering about. You see a few guards, sort of, not just sort of patrolling in pairs. They're not really paying much attention to anybody, but you get the feeling that if it were to kick off, they'd probably bring some reinforcement. They look very well armed and well equipped.
That was the DM saying, "Don't start any trouble."
I mean, it's up to you. You can do whatever you want.
I think we're going to the library.
Walk up to the library,
Okay.
and as I'm walking inside, there's nothing more I like better than to relax and read after a long journey. Oh,
Okay. You push open the doors to the library. The cool, slightly dark interior greets you. There's a stone floor that leads up to in a room about 20-30 feet wide, about 20 feet deep, and there is a desk in the middle awaiting you. Behind that desk is a tiefling of elder years, appears to be female, with a sort of dark, almost purple black skin, sort of shock of yellow hair that runs between two horns that are almost, that curve up and forward again. They look. She looks very intimidating as she's sitting there waiting for you to approach the desk.
She's staring at us over her glasses.
She doesn't
Complete the
have
look.
glasses on, but she is looking with an eyebrow raised quizzically, as if to say, "What the fuck do you want?"
Mm.
Your message, Chess.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Two messages, in fact. You are. Okay. So, are you approaching the desk?
yeah, I'll approach
Indeed.
the desk with my confidence, going into one of those the big red port smile. Good morning.
Welcome to the library. What can I do for you?
Well, it's been a long journey, and looking to unwind by doing a little bit of reading and learning. I know it's unorthodox, but
Reading and learning is, after all, what we're here for. So, are there any particular books we can provide for you today? I assume from your group you are from out of town and wishing to research something. Am I correct?
you're right on the money.
Indeed, I always am. So,
We're all really looking into our own things. I know I, for myself, quite interested in a lot of old histories,
Hmm.
especially around old religions and gods. I was over in Larkham a few months ago, and they have this quaint little church there, and I just wanted to do some reading. What else they'd have?
Larkham.
Beyond it's far east from here. That's just interesting in seeing, like.
Perhaps the library at Dar would have been more appropriate, or even
Wow.
Redport, if it
You
is
know what
that
Dar's
far
like,
east.
and I'm more interested in
But
just histories
who
of
am
gods
I
and
to?
religions. Dar is not a city I particularly want to go
Well,
to.
if it is religion you are trying to research, Dar would be the correct place to go, as Dar
I feel like I wouldn't
has
learn much from there.
any number of religions, as it were. But the library
say.
is provided for the residents of Dornham to research whatever they wish to research. So, if I could see your residence paper, you
We
may enter.
wouldn't have those. We're
Of
from
course,
out of town.
you are from
so
out of town.
you can see
So-
that being a problem.
What you can do is you can pay a library fee for every. So at this point, she looks across at the two dwarves. Person that wishes to do some research, there will be a 5 gold fee for the day.
That is absolutely fine.
Okay.
And I'll
So I will need to know your name.
okay.
We have to keep
my name-
records of all outsiders that enter
That's-
the library, of course.
Absolutely fine. I am Millicent Tanner.
Millicent Tanner. Okay, and your normal place of residence?
Redport.
Redport. Indeed, Redport. Millicent. Nice to have you here. Your slip? And she has a small piece of card.
I'll put down 5 gold pieces.
She hands you the card, takes the 5 gold.
And I'll
And
kind of
the rest of you?
step to the side, kind of giving Snow a look to.
As you look around, Snow is nowhere to be seen.
I'll step to the side and kind of give Florian and Trellador a look of keep it going.
Your name,
Hi.
sir?
It's Jonathan. Jonathan Ackle.
Jonathan Ackle.
Ackle. Yeah.
I see. And your normal place of residence, please?
My normal place of residence is just everywhere. I'm a bit of a wanderer, but Redport would be my mainstay. As you can see, my friend
Redport.
over here.
Okay. She gives you holds out a card. That will be 5 gold, please.
Thank you, and I hand over the 5 gold.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to come into the library today?
I'll step forward.
Ah. And your name, please?
Ember.
Ember. Is that your entire name, or?
Yes.
Very well. Pardon my asking. Sometimes people have more than one name.
I understand, but it's
Sometimes
common
they
in my
do not. I understand completely. And your main place of residence, if you have one?
I follow the traditions of my people, and I have none.
The noble art of the wandering gusts. I see. She gives you a card. That will be 5 gold, please. Thank you.
Hand over 5 gold.
And a 2 gold deposit.
Just for me.
Just for you.
How kind.
No, Not kind, but necessary, we have found.
Accepted. No.
No, that's absolutely fine. Do you give it a 2
Um,
gold?
Yeah, I'm giving
Yep,
the
okay. She
second
gives
brace deposit.
hands you the card. Please come and see me at the end of your research, and your 2 gold will be returned. Gentlemen, she looks at the 2 dwarves and Trellador.
Yeah. I'll come in and have a little read.
Okay.
All
Your name, please.
right. My name's Deacon.
Deacon. It's an interesting name.
Mm.
Just the one name
Just the one name.
and your normal place of residence, please.
Redport Windows.
Redport. It's a lot of Redport visitors today. That will be 5 gold, please.
Right, here you go.
Sorry, my name's Freddie Winklenut.
Freddie Winklenut. What an interesting name. And your residence?
Redport.
Redport. Many people. 5 gold, please.
Oh, you've met my husband?
Pardon?
You met my husband, Deacon?
Yes.
Yeah, well, we live together.
That will still be 5 gold, please.
Oh, all right. Here you go, then.
I'm sorry, were you expecting me to say something about this?
Well, no, you just commented on how many people were from Redport, and I was saying, well, we live together, so it's like, of course we're both going to be from Redport.
I'm sorry, but I didn't know that you lived together. I would not want to presume.
Oh, no, that's why I was telling you.
Freddie, just...
What?
Thank you for the information. It is very interesting. Thank you.
And I'll just say, you're welcome in Draconic.
And she speaks back in Inferno. And
Sorry,
What did you say?
those that can understand Inferno say, I thank you again. And you, sir? It's not
I have many names. You could call me the champion.
the champ. Could we pick perhaps another name? One that,
No.
well, unfortunately, without a name, you will not be allowed
Okay,
access to the library.
Bob Champion.
Rob the champion.
Bob.
Bob the champion. I see.
If it's so important. Right.
It's not so much important as necessary. Thank you. And that will be fine. And your residence?
Drummond.
Drummond. And 5 gold, please.
How does she seem to be taking all of this?
Make an insight
Especially after Gus's and...
Make an insight check.
Yeah, I'm going to get in on this as well.
Barely withheld rage.
12.
12.
Rolling really well tonight. 25.
25. She's not buying any of this.
But I'm assuming that it's coming across as this happens all the time.
She's like... She seems bored out of her mind doing this job. She doesn't get... You get the impression she doesn't get to interact with that many newcomers to the city, and she's having a bit of a giggle.
Okay, cool.
So, the history section is down this way. If you follow the stacks, there everything is very clearly labelled in both Draconic and Infernal for your pleasure. The religious section is also down that way, but down to the left, past the history section. They do overlap somewhat, but as you can imagine, myths, legends, history, religion.
I'm
It's
looking
all a
for
bit-
a specific book if you can help me.
Mm.
I think it might be called How to Train Your Dragon.
And do you have an author?
No.
Huh. Well, I will look at my index cards.
Dragons and how to train them.
There is a section on mythical beasts down in the myths and legends, near where your friend is going to research religion and legends and myths of all kinds.
Righto, thank you very much.
You are most welcome.
Come on, husband.
All right.
Whereabouts would your magical and like spell section?
This is not a magical library. We do
No,
not
sorry.
carry magical spells or books of any kind.
And with no writings on anything like that?
Not really. There may be references to mages and wizards of the past in the history section. There may be some biographies of well-known wizards, but nothing detailing the history of magic. We are not a highly magical society. You would need to go further north for that. Perhaps Drummond. And she looks at Trello.
Bob.
Thank you. Thank you much.
Do you have any books about gods?
As I told your friend, that is from Redport, the section on religions and history and mythical beings is down there on the left.
I'll head that way.
Okay. So, whilst you're all getting your library cards and wandering down to the various sections, Snow, what are
It
you up to?
started so well.
I want to scope out where the docks is and where the trade centre is.
Okay, so you head back down out of the centre of the city, and instead of going back towards the east where you came in from, you head to the noise and the hubbub of the port and the authority down there, and the boats and the dockyards. Yeah, it's busy down here. There are lots of tabaxi treading waters. There's a lot of orcs. There's a lot of tieflings, scattering of humans, some elves.
Yep. So with the trade post, is it sort of as I would expect it to be?
Yeah, it's busy. It's big. It's in its normal place in relation to the docks.
Can I go and inspect the board, and can I see if there's any indication of any notes linked to us?
Sure, make an investigation check.
That's not so bad. Plus 8, so 20 total.
20 total. Scanning the board quickly. It's busy down here. There's a lot of people sort of jostling about and looking at the board and pinning things up and taking other things down. There's nothing relating to you guys at all. There is an old notice about boats going missing, but nothing directly related to you.
Okay. Okay, he's going to go and find a perch somewhere and just continue to observe the docks.
Make a stealth check, please. Because I'm assuming you're trying to blend in and not.
Oh yeah,
look.
100%. Yeah. 29.
29, perfect. Okay. So you managed to find yourself a little corner to sort of tuck yourself away into between two buildings. It's not really an alleyway, but it's not really. It's not out in the open. It's just shaded enough that you could use your cloak to sort of blend into the wall and just observe things that are happening. Are you looking for anything in particular, or?
Looking for what, seeing if I can see sort of anybody that would be familiar or any of the family groupings, sort of symbols that I would recognise.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Oof, that's not so good. 14.
14. From here, I mean, you can see quite a lot of the docks. There are familiar signs of familiar names to you, trading families. Nobody that's directly related to you. Your area of operations was much further north. You've not actually been here before, and you don't see anybody you recognise.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, there's
I'm just
names that you've heard of, but
Yeah.
never actually met any of these names. They're just people that have been talked about.
Okay. Cool.
So, back in the library, meanwhile, what is it we want to do? Let's go around the room. So we'll start with Melissa. What is it you want to look up?
Okay, I've got myself a list
Okay.
of things I'm going to look up. I'm going to start by trying to find information on Peladas, Reorx, and Remora
Okay.
that I can find.
All right. So you will. Is anybody else looking to do that?
Yes, but not
Yeah.
necessarily on those gods.
Okay.
I'm just looking at Reorx.
Okay.
I will say I'm kind of intending this search to then direct me to finding other gods.
Okay.
Is my intention.
All right. Yet.
My intention of being here was just to assist.
Okay.
So I don't know if that means you want to give like assist on rolls, because I'm figuring
Well, that's what I'm
my
trying
role
to
is
work
like
out.
hand
Is
the books and flip through them.
okay. Yorick, Gus.
Dragons.
Dragons. Okay. So, Melissa, you give me an investigation roll with advantage. Trelador and Florian, you also give me rolls with advantage. Because what I'm going to say is, you two are helping each other. Sorry. Melissa is being aided by Florian, and Trelador is being aided by Miet. And Miet's kind of helping everyone, looking up.
Do you want to know specifically what I'm looking for?
I will come back to you in a moment.
Okay, cool.
So, Yorick and Gus, you can have a roll each, or one of you at advantage, because you're each helping the other.
I'll do that. I'm the clever one.
All right.
So,
That'll do. 19.
19. Nice. So, dragons. Mythical creatures. You find a couple of books on dragons. There's a lot of, from what you guys know about dragons, there's a lot of garbage, frankly. They were ancient noble creatures who used to rule the skies. There's this one book keeps going on and on about them being incredibly magical and being able to turn into humans and walk the earth. It's all very strange. Another book has them as more that you know that they are creatures rather than magical beings that can fly and can disappear into the other planes and exist on more than one plane, and that they hated or humankind or dwarvenkind, not dwarven, but all of the races of the planet were subjugated by the dragons. The dragons were in total control, and the tieflings and the orcs rose up against them and slew the dragons. It's a very strange book indeed. A
There's
third
nothing about
book.
training them.
Nothing about training a dragon. No.
Or raising, or being a dragon mother.
No, unfortunately not.
Mother of dragons.
No, there's no Khaleesi here.
Yeah, Gus Targaryen over here.
No, but it's fascinating stuff. All of these conflicting information about what dragons are and why they are and why they are no more, because nobody's seen one for thousands of years.
I'll sort of snigger when I read that. I was like, I'll have to ask Bridris if she can turn into a human. Look, it says here they turn into humans.
Oh, yeah? I don't think that's true.
Well, I've never seen it, but you never know.
You think if they could turn into humans, then they'd have, been a bit more useful fighting the dwarves. They'd just be all sneaky, turn into humans and come and walk into Darkhold.
Oh, yeah, then they'd turn into a dragon and go, rah!
Exactly, but really, I think they're just pretty stupid beasts.
Don't say that near Idris. Might bite your bottom.
Then you'll have to tell her off.
I would, but she's being a bit stroppy at the moment. That's why I'm looking for a book on how to train her, because it's like, when you get a dog and it keeps shitting on the floor and you can't stop it. It's being a bit like that at the moment.
Maybe you need to ask about a section on parenting.
Quite.
Well, I never thought of that.
So, moving back to the researchers doing other things, Melissa, what'd you get?
20.
20. Okay. There are a number of books about mythical beings. Most of them tend to reference Dar. And there are names that you recognise from your time in Dar. But nothing on Reorx, Peladas, or Remora. Only the ones that you've heard of before in Dar. That you know for a fact are just drivelly made up crap.
Yeah.
So, Trelador, what did you get?
13.
13. You're looking specifically for Reorx.
Yeah, mainly looking for things about his manifestations, powers, his history, but mainly leaning into what he's done in the world and what he can do.
Okay. You search and search and search. There's no mention of Reorx at all.
Bit racist.
Florian, what is it you're looking for, and what did you get?
I rolled 19.
Okay.
And I'm looking for anything what may come across for the Temple of the Broken-Hearted, or any temple which has heart in the name, basically.
Okay.
Religion, temple, or anything like that. And also looking for none specific, but for deities of the underworld, hell, and anything what may just mention a ritual or something of any kind.
Wow. Okay, that's quite a lot.
Hmm.
The Temple of the Broken Heart is mentioned as having a headquarters in Dar. And its followers seem to be, whilst this book is not specifically calling them a cult, it's kind of calling them a cult. There's an old, dusty, dry book that lists the Temple of the Broken Heart as having been founded in such and such a year and by this person and blah blah blah, and it's really, really boring. There's almost no facts in it. It's just dull.
I'd probably
Repetitive.
look over and see if it's actually correct.
Oh, it's absolutely not correct. None of it is
Fantastic.
correct. It's a complete lie. But
It's a fabrication.
there are any number of books with temples that have rituals. In fact, rituals, as a look-up word, it gets a lot of hits. There's so many different rituals. There's the ritual of sacrifice of people,
Cows.
cows, livestock, tabaxi. There's ritual sacrifice of orcs. There's ritual sacrifice of tieflings. And there's a big section on sacrifice. It seems that these religions that you've heard of in Dar, down here, they're viewed as dangerous, barbaric cults that sacrifice their followers to gain power that most of these authors say is non-existent, and they're all just lunatics.
I would probably, after reading the first few about obviously like sacrifice rituals, head on from that or back, wherever it is, if there is anything, and like any like, it doesn't matter what it is, but like rituals of binding or anything.
Okay. Would you roll 19?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ritual of binding for the Temple of Laxar, which allegedly is no more.
I can still hear. Hang on, I just need a pen. Sorry.
The elders of the Temple of Laxar would bind to a creature from beyond the stars by cutting themselves across the shoulders with a sacrificial, specially sanctified blade that only exists in the Temple of Laxar, which apparently was destroyed a couple of 100 years ago because they were dangerous lunatics and they were in a cult.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
But
okay.
whilst all of this is going on, Celeste, I would like Celeste to make a perception check, please.
23.
23. Okay. So, I know she's not here, but she would definitely notice that whilst you're all researching books and stuff, there is a section of bookcase that doesn't look right. It looks a bit weird and strange and ill-fitting. The rest of these bookcases are joined together beautifully. Some master craftsman has made these out of wood or whatever material this is. You're not really sure. It's cold. It's cool to the touch. And this one just doesn't fit right. Like it's, I don't know. You could push it open, perhaps. Some sort of secret passage.
She would point this out to the group.
I'm guessing she would.
Oh, Gus will immediately go over and try and push it open.
And that's where we'll stop for tonight. So, welcome to the library. Well, thank you all very much for playing. That was quite fun. Sorry, it went on a bit longer than I anticipated because I couldn't find a good place to stop. So apologies, Martin. I know you've had a bit of a busy day.
Quite all right.
There was a lot of arguing, in fairness.
There was quite a lot of arguing, but you know, it's all good.
It was passionate.
Yeah, it's always part of the plan, the argument before you do anything.
I still think Yorick would have made a good horse's ass.
Well, that can be a plan for later, City.
Yes,
Or
there
just
are other
because.
cities. Always.
Those fake names were going so well.
They were right up until Gus. I was keeping a straight face right up until James said these. I was like, fine.
With Freddie Winklenuts.
Just stop it.
The fella didn't even try.
Bob.
In fairness, at least Trellador's attempt was, a bit more straight-faced than
Yes, it
Gus's.
was. Yes, it was. So, again, thank you all very much for playing. I hope you enjoyed this evening. I certainly had a lot of fun playing with this. As we normally do, we'll do a quick any questions type of thing, go around the room, and then I'll let everybody go off and do sleeping or whatever it is you need to do. So let's start with Yorick. Any questions, thoughts?
Don't think so.
Okay. Trellador?
No, I'm just about there being no mention of Rio worrying a bit because he thought he was powerful or reaching.
It's a bit concerning, isn't it?
I think this is
Snow. Any thoughts, questions?
Kind of happy that there's no mention of us on the board.
Well, you are dead.
Technically speaking, yes. But it kind of puts into place one idea that he's got, which is that we can probably, the stipulations where we either die or we come back alive and we're cleared. So
We've done both.
And we've done both.
Indeed. Yet?
I am endlessly frustrated by my bad dice rolls and the amount of information that I'm missing. That's like it's less like the point is going over my head, that I can see the point flying over my head, and it's just too far out of reach.
Just can't quite grasp it. Yeah.
It does happen,
Yeah,
Debbie.
does.
I mean, I've rolled
It's happening
ridiculously well
all of the
tonight, but
time, though.
New dice.
Like
New dice.
I'm keeping a mental tally of the amount of times I know I've missed something from the way I'm asked to make a roll. And it's like, how much more information would I have in this moment if I had made those rolls?
Imagine you're frustrated by that. Imagine how frustrated I am. I want to give you this information, but I just can't. I can't just give it to you.
Every party has someone who is dice cursed. It is a rule.
It's normally Finny, to be fair.
And thank you for taking that from me.
Take it back.
Melissa, you got any questions, thoughts?
Interesting reading. Very curated library, I suspect.
Could be.
And but if it's anything like the libraries I suspect that you've written, we're in a lot of trouble. But
sure, you'll be fine.
Oh, probably.
Gus?
I think I'm going to have to do some conditional training with Bridris. Try and wean her off dead orcs and give her something else to hoard.
That ship sailed.
You're going to just walk up to her and smack her on the nose with a newspaper, are you? No dead orcs! No!
Suddenly on fire newspaper.
Yes. Okay, well, we'll see how that goes. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. I'm sure she can be...
May I suggest that Gus goes and gets about 19 new pairs of trousers, because I imagine the arse will be burnt out of several pairs.
We shall see.
It won't be burnt out. She doesn't breathe fire. She breathes lightning.
Yeah, lightning.
Because that's nice and safe, obviously.
Invest in some conductive armour.
Yeah.
So something that can ground you easily.
Lightning through my bond with her, so that won't hurt as much.
Cool. Florian?
Yeah, one more game-wise. When I asked about the temples and like the broken hearts, nothing popped up as if there was like a temple of, like, say, the full-hearted or the temple of the hearts, not specifically broken heart.
The broken heart was mentioned. There would have been a... no, nothing that mentioned heart. And there was there was mercy, there was love, but nothing that mentioned the temple of the broken heart was the only one that was mentioned that had the word heart in it.
Okay, I probably would have made a note of the like love one.
Sure.
Just FYI. And good reads. Very interesting. The fog has appeared again.
Yay.
What's going on, and it looks like we're off to the west a little bit more before heading north to check out a library which may have actual facts in.
You never know.
Who knows?
So, unless there's anything pressing, I will let
you,
you get on with your night. Thank you all very much for playing. Thank you guys for watching. If you've been watching and you enjoyed, fabulous. We're very happy to have you along for the ride. We will, of course, be back on Sunday for The Investigators, episode 12, I think. Could be 12. Could be
13.
13. Actually, will be 13. Thank you, Martin. With DM Martin, obviously, who's just ace. And then, of course, we'll be back here on next Tuesday for episode 52 of Helloran Rising. And, yeah, is it a secret passage? Is it just a badly made cabinet? I guess we'll find out. So, thank you very much. We will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.